interesting and something new to see coming out of this particular map. It could be that Playing Ducks, what they're trying to do here is just do what we've seen time and time again between teams in mixing up their first site pick to try and throw off the enemy team's operator picks. And that would make a lot of sense.
All right, so we're going to see an MPX Black Eye in the hands of Valkyrie right now.
Yes, it's
right
just
there. Oh, just annihilates the drone.
She's throwing those black eyes at such fast speeds that you can't actually see them with your eyes. And it gets thrown fast enough.
Supply.
Yeah, it gets thrown fast enough to destroy drones as well.
But now here we are, round number 1 going underway, and Drid is going to hop right into the exhibition room and make his way in through the lounge.
Yeah, so they're going to be clearing from the east side of the building to the west side of the building, and that's something we've seen a lot of on this particular bomb site from the attacking squad. It's pretty easy to figure out if there's a defender playing in that trophy room, just drone it out and move your way forward from there. The challenge comes when you have to challenge that that drum room hold, and it is going to be Renewals who's going to be in a position to receive the attacking gBots lineup.
Yeah, a part of me is thinking that we're going to have the Valkyrie underneath. I'm drawing a blank on who that was. She threw one of the Valk cams out, and that's actually able to see the window that's right next to Troy out on the balcony. So she could pop out, throw a C4 up and over, and get a kill. Yeah,
that'd be a nice C4 to see from gBots. Well thought out at that.
We are going to have Lion moving on over to the west balcony, right next to Renewals outside. Drid is also out here. He's working their way. I want to say that this is very similar to like a takeover on Canal. If you're on Maps and Kitchen, you need to take over that top floor, and that's exactly what we're seeing gBots do here.
Yeah, but it's worth noting that there's a minute 20 left on the clock, no men down on either side at this moment, and they haven't even touched the bomb site. Lackey, though, with the first kill of the round, going on to Choi with that C4. Seemingly, that was from underneath.
Yeah, now Renewals and Drid were right next to each other. Drid's going to open it up, and if you spot him and get him down on the stairs, that's going to be a fallen Jaeger, evening out man count 4-4 with 60 seconds left to go. We've got Zoronic here, who's moved up from the downstairs. He's inside of the lounge area, coming around with C4 in his hand. Baraz is keeping an eye for that flank. He's pretty aware of it. Lackey, however, will be tagged with a couple bullets as Lion is peeking on down through the crevasse of those staircases. Now that drop hatch has been opened up here. And Lackey moving away around towards that main entrance. Now with 35 seconds left to go, Drid is still working his way up here. Zoronic has now his gun and C4 in hand.
He's actually holding out an MPX right now.
He is holding his MPX at the moment. It looks as though Meepy will take down Wesker, a 4-on-3 at the moment. Now we do have one more gas grenade that's been tossed on out. That's going to stop that north stairs push, but Drid has fallen. He's going to look on down, go for the shots on his Snookin, but inside of the pantry, Snookin saying, "Get out of my cookie jar." And now right there, Lackey and Meepy going to finish it off.
Yeah, clean up the round nice and easy for Playing Ducks. Good defense from them, and an interesting attack from gBots. Now, it was they pretty much just took from Yep. It's just a visual bug, guys. Don't worry about it. Doesn't influence it at all, really. But at the same time, we were talking about the way they were taking that bomb site. They were trying to take it from the east to the west, and I understand the concept there, but the problem is they got stalled up on that drum bit where they're trying to push their way through drum, and they did rotate around to the balcony itself to then push into the flank of what we saw there on the kill on to Jaeger. But it was too little too late, really. There wasn't enough time to establish themselves over the site, open up those holes into the anchors, and start getting the picks that were necessary to then make that push. And because of that, they were forced to run in with little time on the clock. Now we're going to be seeing gBots. They're going to be defending upstairs, which is a little bit more commonplace, shall we say, on Skyscraper. Something we're used to seeing here. They're going to be opening up those holes into Geisha. And I'm curious to see if they're going to be actually holding Geisha this time, or if they're going to be doing what we've seen a lot of teams do, which is just forfeiting it.
Yeah, one of the things I want to point out here, Lion, we have his main operators as being Hibana and Mira. And here he's playing a smoke, which it kind of goes back to some interview questions we had earlier on in the week with the North American leaders. We talked about how you need to be very versatile. You need to be open-minded on your play style.
Absolutely.
And being able to adapt. And it seems like Lion's one of those operators, or one of those players that the team has chosen to be that versatile person.
Yeah, and on the flip side, you also have Barrage, Baraz. It's always so hard to get that last bit on the name, but Baraz, we have him. He's the person who's taken up that role now. He's playing the Mira, and he had to rotate off of, I'm guessing, Smoke in this instance. So, yeah, a lot of versatility coming out from this roster, and it's great to see from them. Hopefully it works out, because there is a lot of things you have to relearn when you're switching up, changing roles like that, even if you are a versatile player at heart. There is, still little tiny things like, for example, the 17 bullets that you only have in the SMG-11, and that's the extent of your long-range engagement capability.
I mean, that also comes down to, like, recoil pattern.
Right.
They're different per gun, and you need to know that. If you want to be a pro player, you need to have your gun specifically down.
And playing at this high level, it does take hundreds and hundreds of hours to learn about each and every one of those little ins and outs of operators. However, getting into this round, we do have 2 roamers coming out from the gBots lineup. They're going to be challenged by Snuka, repelling on that window. He's trying to cut off the rotation from those north stairs, just catch one of those gBots players off guard as they attempt to use said stairs. Renewals is going to be opening up the Geisha room. Sorry, I say Renewals, but yeah, Meepy's going to be opening up the Geisha room with his thermite charge. And, you know, we didn't see any challenge at all really coming out from gBots.
What I do like seeing from gBots' setup is they have the 2 main corridors nailed down right now.
Yeah, and that you saw there, that was Troy. He was getting the pick on the Playing Ducks player, repelling on that balcony, trying to look through those north stair windows. So that rotation cutoff getting used against them and in the favor of Playing Ducks.
Yep, and now we're going to have Lackey out here. He wants to get rid of some of that barbed wire so he can rush down the stairs and potentially get Lackey on those north stairs. But for the moment, he's just trying to gas it out and just put a little bit more pressure. There's still plenty of time for the attackers to make their push, but Troy sitting right underneath of the window, going to look up, peek up, and Renewals will be there to decapitate him. A 4-on-4 ensues now.
So it was a good risk that Troy took earlier in the round to get that buck, but unfortunately, now it's predictable, and you're making it again, taking that same risk again, and it's going to work against you.
Yep. Now we've got Lackey here working his way on the window side as Renewals is going to be gassed out. Lackey's going to take quite a bit of damage and come back out on that northeast balcony. That Windows is his preferred site, or the preferred entry into that site, because there is the barbed wire still managing at the top of the stairs. Dread, however, still holding down that back stairwell.
Yeah, and we saw there was a bandit playing in the Geisha room itself. That means the attackers opened it but didn't use it. Renewals with a pick onto Lion, though, is going to take control of the B bomb site. He's going to get traded back by Drids from that Geisha room.
Yep, and that looks as though it was Drid who nailed him through the wall. It looks as Barrage will also pick up Lackey as he does come through that windowsill, getting stuck inside of that barbed wire. Meepy's going to have to come in through that northeast doorway as we've got Zeronic, who I think is on the bottom of the north stairs. No, he's actually on top of the cubby there. He's working his way. He's down Drid. Wesker's going to try to pick him up here momentarily. There's 10 seconds left to go. 2-on-3. And Zeronic's going to see one, goes for the shots, cannot make it. He's got to hop into sight, but right there, you've got Drid, who's right behind the reinforced wall. He's just going to heartbeat sense it and mostly get the shot down. And ultimately, we're going to have gBots take round number 2.
So that was a really good round defense from gBots. However, it was an interesting, more importantly, it was an interesting attack from Playing Ducks in that they opened up the Geisha room, but then proceeded to not utilize it whatsoever. And that is kind of counterintuitive. Why open the angle if you're not going to utilize it? And then more importantly, because they didn't utilize it, then gBots were allowed to establish crossfire with their players in A and deny even the plant into the B bomb site.
Yep.
And all it would have taken, I have to feel like, from Playing Ducks, all it would have taken to win that round was to position a player in that breach hole they opened up from the balcony into Geisha, who can then get the pick onto the smoke, the Pulse and the Bandit, who are playing in there.
Yeah, I mean, once that wall's opened up, you could even just hold it from outside, open up the window.
Yeah, you don't have to go in.
Buck, if he didn't get picked off, and I know he was holding down the rotation from the bottom of the stairs, if he would have gotten up, onto that Geisha window, that first wall, that kind of half wall that extends into the room.
Buck that open,
and the entire Geisha room's now opened up.
Yeah, and you know, it might have been that that's their strategy, is to then move the Buck from the rotation control on those north stairs over to the Geisha window to try and lock that out. And that just didn't happen because they didn't have the player available. But at the same time, you need to fill that role, man, because it did end up costing them that round. Having those extra lines of sight for gBots to be using to, work on that, picking off players when you're pushing into the site itself, it's just too much to handle. I mean, when you're not accounting it, when it comes down to the strategizing,
It seemed like...
I feel like they were trying to just open up the thermite wall to scare them out and then just ignore it.
It's a little bit like, okay, we're gonna you probably don't have any black black eyes in here, and so we're gonna open it up, force you out, and we're gonna play that risk game with you. And ultimately, someone, most likely the Pulse, was like, hey, there's actually no one around. So
well, he was playing on the stairs. So he must have just been like,
no push.
There's nobody there, so now we can just take over control of Geisha and establish control over the entire floor now.
Now we are going to get back to the game here momentarily. Here we are with round number 2 in the books. We're moving on to round number 3. It is 2-0, if I remember correctly, for gBots.
It's 1-1.
1-1?
Both of these teams have won a round, if I recall. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. gBots won their defense, Playing Ducks won their attack, and now we're going to be seeing Playing Ducks moving up to that karaoke tea room, which is... I mean, this is what we expect to be seeing.
Yeah, so it is 1-1.
So gBots, yeah, they won their defense. Both of these teams actually, I think, won their
both
defense.
teams. I was gonna say one team won attack.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I got
teams
my
won
wires
defense.
crossed. So yeah, both these Playing Ducks, they won their base or their lower. I say basement. They won their kitchen defense, and gBots, they won their upstairs defense, which means that Playing Ducks, again, they are going to be on the upstairs defense now, which is for most teams, again, is the preferable site. So the fact that they got that kitchen out of the way means that in all likelihood, they are going to be going into a much more comfortable site for them now. As it's, it's probable they just picked kitchen to try and mix up the gBots attack.
Now,
and it did work for them.
Maybe I haven't played Skyscraper too much, but those 2 mirror windows inside of the karaoke room are new to me.
I mean, I didn't quite see them.
They're by smoke right now.
Oh, look at that.
Maybe going to be playing in there.
So oftentimes what you'll see in that left wall where the mirror is, on the left one there, you'll just see that opened up and a mirror on that right wall. So, but having those 2 mirrors there is going to allow for the player playing in B to actually remain crouched when he's standing above the north stairway. Because oftentimes it can be that you will see those challenged to the floor there. However, a good attacking player is going to know of that position and probably bucket or ash it from underneath. So we'll see if that goes down coming out from gBots in this round. They are going to be attacking similar to how they did last time, but a little bit lighter on the east side, as well as there will be a roamer coming out from Playing Ducks waiting for them in that trophy room.
Now, it looks as though Playing Ducks is going to put a little bit more effort into maintaining control of the Geisha room. They had their bandit in there. That's going to be Snookin.
Well, now they're defending upstairs, so, I mean, yeah, they're going to be, definitely.
Well, it's contradictory because gBots didn't. gBots let it open. They didn't have anyone inside of Geisha at the time of it getting opened, the last defensive hold.
Yeah, they just left it alone, and it is kind of weird. I mean, a lot of teams these days, they have been, I'm sorry, I thought you meant the upstairs as a whole.
And an nade's going to go in, and Wesker's face is going to almost get taken off. Snookin just cannot hit it, but Renewals will pop on out. I believe that was from the balcony, potentially.
At the same time, Ash Charge is coming up underneath the bandit. Going to do a little bit of damage, but unfortunately for Ash, not going to get the final pick onto him.
Now, you did talk earlier about Buck or Ash trying to be underneath of the smoke to either just get him out of that position or open up the mirror walls. You can see the hole there, which I think Smoke made himself. But
well, I don't think it was above the stairs. It was in the hallway outside of the stairs. Or no, there was. There was one above the stairs. But it's interesting. He's playing it on top of the couch instead of just over the floor itself.
There's that Ash Charge you were talking about.
Yeah.
With that, Choi's going to open up 1 mirror window. He's going to go for a second. Will Meepy be able to see him before it does? Nope, both windows will get opened up. Choi's going to back on out. Renewals gets that kill into Drid as a trade comes down, and Baraz will take him down. Snookin still inside of that Geisha room as we have some attackers moving in from Drum. That's going to be Baraz here. Taking out the camera, now moving up forward. He's looking in towards B site. Typically that wall's reinforced so that you can't get this long angle, but Baraz is going to take advantage of it. Snookin, though, very cautious. He knows the hole is here. He's working his way, making sure that he won't get picked off, but it looks as though he might be spotted here momentarily.
Oh, the timing.
Now Snookin did spot some Baraz here, and right underneath the camera, more wall bangs are going to happen here. He's going to get hit a little bit and does not get the shot, but Lion will take down Meepy. That's going to force Baraz to back on out of there with about 5 health left. Ryan has taken control of B. He's going to go for this plant here. Zeronic actually got Choi from behind. A good kill there. And there's Zerlaki and Snookin to take down the final 2 kills in a moment's notice.
So those mirrors being opened actually working against gBots in that instance, but overall the defense coming together, it really didn't seem very concise at all. Sorry, the attack didn't seem very concise. They didn't really have an idea to actually take the site. They had a player coming from each and every different one of the angles, and because of that, there weren't very many trades coming back into their favor. I mean, you saw Hibana get into the site itself, but that's just through one player's pure active aggression, and then unable to plant because there's no one to cover her. It seems like gBots, they weren't all together as a team, as a unit, going into that particular attack, instead opting to come from each and every angle they could possibly find. And that usually doesn't work. I mean, because the problem with that then is you're opening yourself up to single engagements.
Yep.
And that's just coming down to player skill, whereas the defenders, they are going to be having still 2 people to engage you or 1. But now we are going to be having Playing Ducks going into their kitchen defense. Now, gBots, they were pretty successful on this particular, gBots are going to be kitchen defense.
gBots tried to attack this round number 1 and were unsuccessful at it.
Yeah, and now they're going to be, gBots are going to be defending it.
With that, we did see Drid go up to Geisha to reinforce the wall. He's going to be staying up here with Wesker.
So we've seen actually opposite site defenses and opposite site victories coming out from both of these teams. So if the record holds, if the trend continues, we will see gBots lose this defense, but I don't see that as likely. I mean, they've been having a good time going into their defensive rounds for the most part. And, I mean, I say for the most part, they're one defensive round. And, you know, it's going onto this basement, they are setting themselves up in a good way. And coming out from playing Ducks, what's going on?
I was going to say, Renewals is going to have to be careful, because he does have a pulse right outside the window from Kitchen, where he could hop right out, because he went back downstairs.
We've been seeing a distinct lack of pulse so far on this map, only 4 rounds in. But it's good to see him coming out now, going into this Kitchen defense. I mean, there isn't a very heavy roam game at the same time from gBots. There's not a whole lot of control going on in Geisha, which is different to what we're used to seeing, especially considering they are playing a bandit in the Kitchen itself. Renewals is trying to get that angle onto Barrage, but I don't think he's going to get it.
No, Barrage knows that he cannot get out of that cubby until that wall's going to force him out of there.
And that's the whole reason he's playing there in the first place. So we'll see if the Thatcher Thermite game is good enough to get that open, or if they're going to opt to go for Geisha. Oh,
there is no Thatcher game. I mean, there is a Thatcher game, but he's not even anywhere near the site. So I think what they're trying to do is take over this top floor. Meepy's actually going to try to bust his way in here. The drop hatch has been opened up successfully.
There's no bandit or mute to actually stop this Thermite coming down, but there is a pulse to receive the attacking players as they start to challenge into Geisha itself. Dread playing it very aggressive, and doesn't look like Playing Ducks is aware of his position here.
They don't. What I fear he's going to do is take out his heartbeat sensor. Now that's going to give away his position. He's going to go out here, go for a rush. He's not going to see Meepy, though.
Uh-oh, Meepy's going to use another drone. That's going to make him aware of Drid's location.
And there comes the shot from Meepy, a glorious headshot there on the Drid, taking out the pulse to make the second kill of this round.
That was good by Meepy to be very cautious and use the second drone instead of going in blind, even though he knew there was a player in there. He didn't know exactly where. Now the attacking squad, they have, for the most part, taking control of upstairs, but they still have to contend with Troy, who's playing in that yellow corner, and Wesker on these north stairs.
Now Wesker's being he's got to get away. He took a little bit of damage there from that. Snuka doesn't know he's all the way up, and he's going to get that kill onto him as Renewals takes down the bandit of Barrage. Now a 3-on-3 with 35 seconds left to go. We've got a couple bits of damage being done to Renewals here inside of the Geisha room. Looking on down, Meepy's also trying to take control of that here, but the gas grenades are going to force that to be a very detrimental drop for the attackers. Troy still inside of the yellow cubby as we've got our Wesker at the top of the north stairs, working his way down. Zeronic's going to get up top. 15 seconds to go. Looks like Renewals will drop into Kitchen as Zeronic's coming to the Kitchen window. Now, Renewals has been dropped off. He's been down, but not out at the moment. Meepy's actually going for the plant. He does successfully. Wesker tries to go in for the jump into the window. He will go down by Zeronic here. And there's going to be the end of the round with Meepy and Zeronic each taking a kill of themselves.
So, Playing Ducks taking their next attack round, and gBots, on the other hand, neglecting that Geisha hold when it comes to the downstairs. Now, the problem with that is, once you've established control over that Geisha, obviously you can just then shoot anyone who's playing in the Kitchen. And that will be all well and good. If you want to forfeit, just give up Geisha control, that's fine. As a defensive squad, that's fine. If that's part of your plan, sure. But then the next problem if you face is you're playing a player in Kitchen, so he's going to get picked off for free as soon as the attackers have established control over Geisha. So it was kind of they're playing the worst part of the whole Geisha conundrum, and not actually taking that into account seemingly. Having that, what they tried to do, what gBots tried to do is they tried to take the Drid playing that pulse and just stick him in Geisha and say, okay, you hold it. And unfortunately, that's relying too much on an individual player's skill, and not enough on teamwork or utility whatsoever. And because of that, all you have to do as an attacking squad is exactly what we saw Meepy do, which is drone it out, get the free kill.
I would argue, I think there's a discussion to be had about the Geisha room, actually the Geisha wall, holding that down being more important and more valuable than the Kitchen wall. Because you can still hold that Kitchen wall from the top.
No, I agree with you. I mean, there is a whole conversation to be had about that, but at the same time, the problem is more importantly, like, you can...
Oh, he's going for a very aggressive peek. He's going to rush on out. Will he take some damage? No, he's not. He's going to hop right back into the bathroom and behind the bar.
The problem isn't that they forfeited Geisha control. That's not the issue. The problem is that after they forfeited Geisha control, still had a player playing a Kitchen. So not only do you lose the person who's trying to contend Geisha by himself, but you then lose the player who's playing in Kitchen by default. I mean, it's two free kills.
The contingency plan could have had some more work done.
Right. All the same, now we are going to be going into gBots. They're going to be attacking the same exact bomb site, which is that barbecue kitchen. And PlayingDucks, they were previously successful in this particular hold. Now they are going to actually have to contend with I think that was a bandit playing in the geisha this time. Yep.
That's going to be Snookin'. That's his home for now.
So there is a Thatcher on the attacking lineup, and if you do it correctly, if you use your Thatcher grenades correctly and couple them with Hibanas, it's very difficult for a bandit to actually challenge that. There are ways to be doing it, such as shooting your battery as you hear the Thatcher grenade hit the floor and before it detonates, so that you can then place a battery down in the process of the Thatcher grenade detonating, but it is a very high skill level technique. Barrage going to get a kill onto Lackey as he himself goes down.
Yep, and so Zoronic being very cautious here, going to try to bait him and then just decide, nope, we're just going to get the kill, come back over here, give away my position, and then he's going to move back over into Pantry.
Looks like he's just waiting for Troy here to challenge him, and he knows that's all he really has to do. With a minute 20 on the clock, his best bet here is to waste as much time.
Oh, and he's going to get the down shot onto Troy and knock him down. Drid going to try to challenge this as well, now that his teammate's been taken down. Zoronic could get a 3K here. He's going for it, just barely missed his head. Now he's scooting around here to the side of the barrel, or side of the boxes. Drid's going to try to play this close range here. Zoronic now knows he's close. He's going to go for the kill. Goes for the crouch shot. He cannot get it. Pulls out the deagle. The hip fire shot will take Drid down. That's a 3K here for Zoronic. Now Meepy's going to try. He's down here inside of the bar, inside of the barbecue lounge, and lying on top of this little roof. On top of the reception area. He's trying to look for him, but Meepy gets that shot with a pixel angle and will take him down. It's a 4-on-1 at the moment with Wesker hitting up with about 70 health left.
Wow, a fantastic roam game coming out from Zyronic. In fact, I believe that was a 4K.
That was.
And then some unfortunate timing we saw there from the Hibana, holding the angle and then coming off it as she gets peeked. But all the same, what's happening here is gBots, they are trying to clear from east to west. And that is a very common clear, or a very common attack strategy on Skyscraper. However, they're being unsuccessful. They're having trouble dealing with that roamer game. And it seems to be that they're not droning out the areas before they clear them. And they're challenging these defenders blind. And it'd be nice to see from the attacking gBots lineup if they could have one player maybe stay in spawn, drone out these positions before they then progress. I mean, we see on maps like Clubhouse, for example, going into a basement defense, the attacking squad, they will drone every nook and crevice on the off of the bomb site on that first and second floor, apart from the basement, before they actually start moving their way into the building. And, you know, it's odd that we don't see that on a lot of other maps, especially ones like Skyscraper, where you can easily clear out the entire east side of the building with drones before you start progressing into the building itself.
I agree with you. I'm seeing more of a stalemate kind of situation with a lot of play. Like for example, we've constantly seen, I think it was Zoronic on Valkyrie and Troy on Buck playing inside of the karaoke room and North Stairs. Multiple times they were back and forth right next to each other, and it didn't seem like they really knew, like 100% that someone was there. Yes, Troy finally opened up the wall and ended up killing Zoronic, I think, if that recalls, two rounds ago. But it still just seems like there's a lack of drone game happening here.
Yeah, it's possible that it is holding back both of these teams' attacks, but it definitely held back gBots in that last round. Now, we are going to see PlayingDucks. They are going to be going on to their attack. It is 4-1 in favor of PlayingDucks, match point on this first map, Skyscraper. Again, between these two teams, each and every round does matter. One of them will not be going to land, the other will. PlayingDucks looking extremely strong going on to Skyscraper. We'll have to see if they can push it out to the second map right off the bat here. And, you know, I feel like this map has gone by extremely fast. All of these rounds seemingly to progress pretty quickly. I mean, I think we've had one or two that come down to the last 20, 30 seconds, but apart from that, it's been fast executions. That last round, Zyronic got 3 kills in the first minute, I believe.
Agreed. Yeah, I think these rounds are definitely progressing quickly.
Yeah, Jaeger has been taken down. Didn't quite see the engagement, but he is prone or on the floor, and the attackers, I think they just saw that on their drone. So now they're going to try and look for that kill through the wall.
He's going to toss in one grenade, see if he might be able to sneak Drid away.
Just barely.
The nade kill will not do the damage it needs to, and we will have Troy getting picked back up.
So I'm guessing Troy probably got down through some lucky spray through the window, based upon the fact that kill was not secured. However, half the round left, and Zlaki getting the first kill onto Wesker. And Wesker was roaming upstairs, I believe, and now Playing Ducks progressing their way onto, well, upstairs.
Yeah, we do have, I want to say, Renewals is outside on the west balcony, right on the other side of the line. And this is the droning game that we wanted to see. Renewals is now knowing where some players are. You've got Lackey coming up those middle stairs.
Look at that
right now he's in
barbed
drum.
wire.
That is a lot of barbed wire there.
Yeah, all up in the main hallway, trying to deny that versatility coming out, or the maneuverability rather, coming from the attacking lineup.
Looks like Medusa got a haircut or something.
That's clever. I like that. So from gBots, we are seeing more commonplace mirrors coming out.
Oh, a good tribe there, but it will not be in his favor. And that's going to be Lackey. Oh, that's Lackey and Barrage actually took each other down, maybe? No.
No,
it's
it
just
was
an
the
instant trade.
The Ash got the pulse, and the Barrage got the trade back.
Gotcha. Now, Meepy's going to work his way into Geisha. He spotted Lion there. He's going to try to move on over. And Lion just now knows he's kind of pinched.
Yeah, but at the same time, 2 versus 3, 22 seconds on the clock, with Snookin getting that kill onto Choi. So there is still a chance for the defenders to win this round if they just hold out for 15 more seconds.
Yep, now Sledge actually repelled in below. It looks as though Barrage will take down Renewals. Sledge repelled into below and coming up the north stairs, I believe. Maybe takes down one. He will be traded off, and Lion will actually down Snookin, and he will go down.
Yeah, so Barrage with some nice play on that A-bomb. You saw there from both of the attackers as they attempted to challenge him, he was just barely peeking his head around the corner of the bomb, playing that very well, knowing where the last 2 attackers are coming from, or last 3 attackers. Well, no, yeah, last 2 attackers.
Sledge, and Thermite.
I think, I can't remember who it was, but one of them got downed earlier. All the same, that was a good play by from Barrage playing off that A-bomb site, and now we are going to be seeing gBots trying to make their comeback happen. It's going to be 4-2, still in favor of Playing Ducks, but at the same time, not quite as much.
Yep. Yeah, so like I said, it is 4-2 right now. Playing Ducks is up by 2. They win this. It's map number 1 in their bucket, and they only need to win 1 more of the next 2 maps. From Playing Ducks so far, one of the things I want to say is this seems like the Playing Ducks that we've seen previously. This is not this is not the Playing Ducks from earlier this season. This is the Playing Ducks from season 3. They are coming out very strong. They are working together. They are being very
well, the season,
very strong with their play.
Since the Year 1 Season 3 roster, they have had some pretty significant roster changes.
Yes.
So they're not the same exact team, but there are a lot of similar players on there, and I do agree with you in that they are playing up to par and up to snuff. Is what we saw from them at the season, well, at the previous season finals. I think it was, yeah, it was Season 3.
Yep, I do like seeing the Frost play here, though. That second welcome mat that Zeronic had placed down, you can't see it. It's a pitch black corner.
Yeah, and there's a little pot all over it, so you'd see a little bit of debris to cover it up even more so. Like these, yeah, I like these frost traps. They're good frost traps. Good job, Zeronic. I like that.
Now, one of the things with that bathroom welcome mat is, yes, they might know that it's there, but they also know that they're going into basically a death box.
Yeah, they're going to be challenged by one of the defenders. In this instance, going to likely be Renewals or Zeronic. Troy going to be challenging those 2 players, however, from the front door, trying to get that pick early into the round. Also, opening up that front door cuts off a lot of the roamer rotation, forces them onto the south side of the building, and to use that as their only form of rotation. However, they still have that open to them. So, a lot of the problems that gBots have been having in these attack rounds is the lack of a droner game, and it seems like they're being a lot more cautious and doing just that, droning out these positions on the roamers before they move into the bomb or into the building. Troy capitalizing on the drum game, getting the pick onto Zeronic to start out this round. And
it looks as though Barrage will be taken down by Renewals for a trade. You still have Troy and Renewals working their way back and forth here. They're going head-to-head here. Renewals has managed to make his way over here to the house lobby right outside of the master bedroom. He's actually probably going to go lurk upstairs for a bit. Now Troy still wondering where is Renewals going to pop out from. He's like, I'm already gone. I'm going around to the top. Now with 1.5 minutes left to go, it's a 4-on-4. We see Wesker working his way out the northwest balcony top floor. Drid still trying to collapse on Renewals along with Troy, who is working together with him. Snookin now is going to have to hold down to the Geisha all by himself. Now that's a Thatcher and Hibana. They're going to have to do some magic here if they want to get this working, and it looks as though Snookin will have to evacuate, potentially. There he is. He's going to have to get on out of there, and that's going to be Wesker and Lion going to take over Geisha Room in a moment. 60 seconds left to go on the clock. EP still situated by his north wall, facing those stairwells with both mirror windows. Again, this is something that they've definitely practiced multiple times. They know the angles that he can and cannot be seen from Geisha. So he's feeling very confident right now. He's in a good location.
So yeah, gBots in this instance, previously they've had trouble with the roamer game. This instance, they've established dominance over the bottom floor and cut off said roamer game with only losing one player in that engagement. Snookin going to be challenging onto Wesker. Just going to light him out, and he's going to actually get downed in return. A nice shot through the wall coming out from Wesker, but
he doesn't know that just yet. And Lion will take down Meepy from the window there, and they're going to progress into B site. Dread coming up the north stairs there. He'll take down Lackey, and we've only got one left alive. That's Renewals, as we have Snookin, who has been downed, but so has Lion. It's a 2-on-1 at the moment, unless they're going to pick up their players. 10 seconds left to go. Renewals will not pick up Snookin, so it's going to be a 1-on-3 momentarily, and there's going to be the final shots coming out of Troy's gun to take down Renewals.
gBots continuing their attempt at a comeback here on Skyscraper, winning their next round. Now, it was interesting that what we were seeing from gBots, again, we talked about this earlier in the round, but previously they've had a lot of trouble with the roamer game coming out from Playing Dogs. They've just challenged it and lost straight up, losing 4 players in one instance to that roaming Valkyrie. However, in this particular instance, they droned out underneath the bomb site. They didn't dwaddle over on the east side of the building too much, inserted themselves straight into the building on the first floor, challenged onto the roamers and traded evenly, and then maintained control, and which allowed them to later push into the site with full 4 players and plenty of time to spare. So that was pretty much, again, that just came down to them establishing themselves a lot more cohesively, a lot more in a fashion in which they're not actually losing tremendous amounts of time and players and utility, for that matter, to the roaming game. Now they are going to be defending that kitchen bomb site, which is they've struggled with this particular bomb site so far in this map. I think it was them who, unfortunately, they didn't hold Geisha. They attempted to put Drid on Pulse in Geisha in an attempt to hold it just off that. But unfortunately, he has no actual utility to really help him there, aside from the Pulse sensor, if you count that. And apart from that, you're just really relying on one player and his individual skill to hold an entire room that is crucial to your hold as a whole. And I don't think that's the right way to handle that.
Yeah, I think there's definitely other options that you can do. You can put Baraz up there. He's got the bandit batteries, and I mean, they did reinforce the drop hatch, so they're anticipating Geisha. Even if it does get taken over, maybe they won't have enough time.
So yeah, it looks like they're still gonna leave it, but at the same time, it's not gonna matter too terribly much. But on the flip side, he's a Thermite. He's gonna have 2 charges. You know, he'll. But actually, if the Thermite, since they don't have a Habana, if the Thermite opens up the Geisha wall, that means he can either open the kitchen drop down, or he can open up the kitchen wall.
Yeah, and if he hears that, he's just going to skedaddle out of the kitchen, one would hope.
Right, so what I'm saying here is that there are 3 walls to be breached going into this attack coming out from Playing Ducks, and only 2 ways to breach them. Lackey going to be getting the first kill onto the bandit, who's going to be abandoning the kitchen wall. That's a nice kill, and he's there also going to be opening up said kitchen wall.
There was no coverage from A. This looks like it might be almost like a flip side plant where they just rush right into the A site, get it on down inside of the barbecue room, and Lackey right now is just going to the bathroom right now.
Yeah, not quite a flip side plant, per se, but definitely flip side initiative going into that A bomb site without worrying too much at all. Lackey gonna get his 2nd kill out of this push, getting onto Drid, who kind of just walked up to him with his pulse sensor and was not expecting an Ash in.
Now, Troy is still very confused as to where Lackey might be. Lackey got out of the bathroom. He's now over inside a restaurant.
He's just playing a real slippery, sly game on that Ash, just throwing the defense through a loop. And unfortunately, it's going to put them in a really precarious position here. 3 versus 5 now. And they still have the attack, still has plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean, gBots right now, they are not covering each other.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lackey, the fact that he was able to jump into A, get the shot onto Bandit, there's going to be another kill. Now Lackey can rotate again if he needs to. He's only got Wesker looking for him. Lackey will rotate behind the bar. He's going to take those shots at Wesker. He will not get hit. He will also not hit Wesker in return. And then we've got a 2-on-4 at the moment. Wesker's been called out by reception. You've got smoke inside of the kitchen. We're going to have a collapse here by Playing Ducks momentarily, and this could be the final round of this map. It's looking very much like it. Wesker's trying to hop over the bar, going to pantry, but will get picked off by Lackey. Last minute alive, go to Lion here inside of the kitchen. In a 1-on-5, he's got Snookin who's going to pre-fire. The hip-fire shot will come out of the SMG and down him, but Lackey takes that final kill, and I believe, like you said, that might have been an ace there.
That was an ace coming out from Lackey. A fantastic round from him. He waltzed his way into the A-bomb site, picked off the bandit. and then proceeded to then pick off the rest of the defenders one by one. So you were saying, I mean, we're going to see it Playing Ducks collapse, and I was expecting that too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we should have seen, but they didn't really need to, as Lackey was just in there picking off defenders one by one.
He would get a kill, rotate, get a kill, rotate, get a kill, rotate. And like I said, gBots was not covering each other. They were not covering each other. You didn't have the communication saying, okay, do you have my back? Do you not? Because Bandit, ultimately, Bandit has one job if he's in that role in kitchen, keep that wall secure. He's not supposed to pay attention to other windows or anything else. That's the responsibility of your team.
He obviously had his Bandit battery out, sitting next to that kitchen wall, just waiting for the thermite to be planted. And unfortunately, what ended up happening is the Ash, he knows he's going to be, he knows that Bandit's going to be sitting next to that wall. So all she has to do is then vault into the window and immediately pre-fire to her right. Likely got that kill through the wall itself, even if there wasn't a hole open. And then from that, just some great play from Lackey. I mean, we could talk about his strategy on that map, but coming out from the attack, there wasn't a whole lot. They established themselves around the site looking for those picks into said site. But mostly what it comes down to is gBots, like what you were talking about earlier, not watching the A bomb site. I mean, if you don't have any influence, and we've seen that actually a lot from teams on Skyscraper going into this lower floor defense, they don't have anyone actually playing in the site itself. And in this instance, gBots, they not only didn't have anyone playing in there, but no one was looking at it through the holes that supposedly must have been put in the wall to bar. So
here's Lackey's 5K right there.
That was a great
magnificent job.
Yeah, but so it really just comes down to a lack of coverage coming out from gBots, really. And,
I feel
it's
like
weird. It's weird to see. I have to wonder if they just haven't practiced Skyscraper or what's going on there.
I can definitely see a difference in the play between Playing Ducks and gBots, and Playing Ducks were definitely more comfortable on Skyscraper than gBots were. When you started seeing players get taken out from either side and seeing how the teams reacted, Playing Ducks reacted better to when their players were taken out than gBots did. When a player was taken out on gBots, they seemed a little scrambled. They were freeze. They were like, we got to look. We got to pay more attention. And that's when they were like, they were kind of like deer in headlights almost. Yeah,
it did seem like that. I definitely agree. Unfortunately, gBots, we saw in the earlier rounds, gBots, they were attempting to clear the roamers from the east to the west, and it just continually did not work for them. However, that aside, Skyscraper's done now. We're going on to the second map, which is Oregon. Hopefully, gBots, they'll have a better bet going into this particular map.
Can't we do Skyscraper again? That was a fun one. I want to do it again.
I mean, it's good that we're not, for gBots' sake, because they obviously...
For gBots' sake,
yeah, they obviously didn't really know exactly what they were going to be doing on Oregon. So they are going to be having a Caveria, or Cav. I'm just going to call her Cav because I'm not going to butcher that name any more than I already have. We're going to step away from that for a second. Anyway, we're having a Cav coming out from gBots, going into this first round on the defense. And we've seen Cav played a couple times in the Pro League before, but mostly by FPS Zed. Having seen her played, even on Oregon, especially on Oregon, actually, from FPS Zed. However, not a whole lot of play from pretty much anyone else.
Yeah, I think this might be her first appearance in the EU scene.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm trying to recollect, and I don't remember seeing her face. So that's going to throw our statistic junkies through a loop. They're going to have to change it from a 0% to not 0.5%, 1%, something like that. But all the same, Cav, look at that. Surprise. The gBots, they are going to be defending the basement first, and on Oregon, both. I feel like a lot of teams, they switch between preferring the upstairs and the basement. It really is. They're both extremely viable. It used to be hard upstairs. A lot of teams preferring the kids' bedroom, very much so. But as soon as Mira got released, she makes it a lot easier to hold that lobby drop push, and thus made basement viable yet again. It looks like that mirror is open, but it is in fact not. That's just a spectator error.
One of the things with Caveira and being all the way up in the top of Red Tower, I feel like her job right now is, for the basically 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this round, are to just be on cams, call out what she sees. Because typically what happens if they're pushing from the front, they're going to have one attacker. If the attackers are pushing the front, the attackers will mainly have one person trying to rotate around back, cause a little bit of distraction to make them think that, okay, we need to be wary of both sides. I think Caveira is going to be very useful towards those final 30 seconds.
Right. And more to elaborate on that, even like if it is a lobby push coming out from Playing Ducks, if they have the drop down open, and you said last 30 seconds they're making the push into the bomb site, Cav can very silently cover the ground between tower and the lobby itself. That ground being meeting hall, and actually not having footsteps is pretty significant when it comes to that exact push.
Now we are having Renewals here on the side of Armory, looking on down the main stairs, maybe seeing if someone's going to peek, but they know. gBots knows not to peek this.
Yeah, we will be having, for the most part, a lot of players in the site, but there are 2 players from gBots sitting in tower waiting for Playing Ducks to progress onto the site, and they, unfortunately, Playing Ducks, they didn't drone this first. You could see the glass. He's completely exposed right now.
He is, and it looks like Drid is going to go for this. He's actually going to give away his position doing that.
I can't help but feel that was a mistake, but I don't think they... Oh, wow.
He's not paying attention to it at all. Zeronic might just get interrogated here. Drid's going to work his way down. Troy's going to go for the kills here. Will he get him injured? No, he's going to go for the final kill and actually just take them all out. And Drid will go down as he tries to hop outside of the window, as Lackey will take him out for the count. Now a 4-on-4, with Lackey being hurt a little bit there in the back of Red Tower.
Some opportunities missed there from gBots, unfortunately. They did get the kill onto the glass, and they did, but unfortunately, again, they were traded back because Cav tried to do a unnecessary rotation through the outside door, got caught off guard. You know, there were a lot of options still available. As I say that, Ash is going to be dropping into the hallway, get picked off by Barrage.
And Lion will take down Meepy, and Renewals is going to get a trade onto Barrage, a 3-on-2 at the moment. Looks as though Snookin goes down, and Renewals will get the kill onto Wesker. Lion takes down Snookin, who's been injured. It's a 2-on-1. Choi, however, comes up from the drop patch and gets the final kill onto Renewals. And that's going to be round 1 going to gBots.
That sledge got downed by the battery dudes.
Oh my lord.
That was hilarious. So Playing Ducks, some interesting aggression coming out from them there in that attack. They had themselves positioned in a good manner to take that lobby drop down, get the diffuser plant, just smoke it off, and do a standard, well, lobby take. Unfortunately, they instead opted to kind of spread themselves a little bit thin, having people drop down in meeting hall, push into tower, and then they just got picked off one by one as in their respective pushes. And just a lack of being together as a unit, as a team on their push. In the end, there is what ended up costing them that round, as well as not cutting off the rotation from the Jaeger coming into the lobby at the end. The very, very last few seconds. Now we're going to be seeing Playing Ducks. They are going to be defending their own basement going into this next round.
And Snookin playing the Bandit. Now, what we saw, like you said last time, what happened there downstairs, Sledge, I think you said it was the one that got injured by that Bandit battery on the mirror wall facing the storage closet.
He probably would have died to this peeking smoke. I understand that, but it was still hilarious.
I'd say that's an assist nonetheless. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, good job, Bandit. Good job. You know, it's like whenever you get a kill with your Claymore and you're like, oh, did you see that, guys? I'm insane. Yeah. I'm so good at this game. Oh my gosh, Claymore kill. Now we'll see exactly how gBots, they're going to choose to handle this attack. A pretty standard lineup coming from them. No Thermite, but a Habana. Apart from that, a Thatcher, Sledge, Ash, and Blackbeard. So no big surprises there. I think this is a pretty, it's a nice lineup. Not going to be having a Glaz, which is contrast to what we were seeing from Playing Ducks a lot in this matchup so far. They've been opting to bring that Glaz to the majority of these rounds, if not all of them, in fact. Renewals is going to be roaming in that attic, looking for the pick. Ooh, nice pixel angle. Looking for the pick onto any player who might rappel onto the roof. But he is going to be spotted out by Lion's drone and then sprayed down through this wall by Braz.
Now, he does have the sandbags and the shelving unit that he can get some coverage behind, but as you said, he's kind of stuck here at the moment. I don't think he's got the wall reinforced behind him.
Yeah, the dilemma here for him is that, okay, yeah, he's safe from fire, but unfortunately, he can't do anything. If he peeks onto a Blackbeard, he dies. If he moves, he dies. All he can do here is waste time and drones. And if he's successful, that's great. But it's all up to that puts it in the hands of gBots. When you're as a roamer trying to waste time, you put yourself into a corner. That means the other team, the attacking squad, they get to choose how they handle it. And it looks like they're going to Thatcher the ADSs and nade Renewals out.
Now Renewals is going to be killed off by this nade there momentarily. Oh no, Barrage is going to get that shot from the master bedroom window.
Yeah, Renewals, he saw, all right, the nades are coming in. It's my time to peek, and he went for it.
I feel like that was a little... that was not as expected from gBots.
Yeah, okay, so...
Or from P-Ducks.
Yeah, so as a roamer, yes, waste time, but if you're putting yourself in a corner, you're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the attackers establish that you can't run away, all they have to do is then, well, lug nades. And they even had Thatcher take care of the ADS so that wouldn't be a worry at all. Now the man advantage is in the favor of the attacking gBots lineup. Playing Ducks, they still have a roam game going on in Snookin, though. So
Troy has taken a lot of damage here, and it looks as though Snookin might get this kill into Troy's. He peeks on that. He's going to go for it. He downs him, but he's going to have to rotate on out. He cannot give that up, and therefore it looks as though Troy might get picked up here momentarily. And she got to. That was a smart move. Instead of trying to be that aggressive, he knows he got the injure. He's going to waste 20, 30 seconds trying to pick him up. Snookin now is just trying to play this game here. Troy actually is going to get retaliation and take Snookin all the way down.
42 seconds left on the clock, 5 versus 3 now. It's looking pretty grim for the Playing Ducks defense, and overall, on this map, gBots are looking a lot stronger than they were on Skyscraper.
We say that, but Meepy's here. He hasn't used any gas grenades. That's his first one.
Right.
So he can hold this off. That's his second. He can hold this off for about another 10 to 15 seconds.
Oh, he can absolutely hold it off for the remainder of the round. It's going to come down to whether or not Choi is going to be able to make anything happen here. Playing Ducks Lackey, fortunately unable to spray down those feetsies.
Oh, a double people right here. It looks like he's going to go one and down, and that's going to be last man alive for the defenders. It's going to be Mira, and that's Lackey. He's still inside of the closet, I want to say. No, he's not. He's outside of the closet. 2 men left to go. That's Wesker and Baraz. Wesker going to go for the plant as Lackey's moving on forward. He takes down one. He's going to rush in, and this is going to be Playing Ducks getting a grand, fantastic clutch. And now it's a 2-0 lead here for Playing Ducks.
Well read by Lackey to peek just at the right moment. Unfortunately, the Blackbeard was looking the wrong way. That engagement was very much chaos in that round.
Sorry, 1-0, 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. So that engagement was very much chaos going into that round. I mean, we saw both teams continually trading each other back and forth going into that lobby attack. However, again, it was a case of, what we saw from Playing Ducks in their attack on the basement was, spread out, and we're engaging 1 versus 2 on the attacking squad. It's just not working for us. I mean, and then what we saw from gBots on the flip side, yes, they attacked as a unit all together through that drop down, through those main stairs, and they got it a lot closer. So the basement beat defense working for both of these teams, but gBots, again, making a much better run of it.
Yeah, gBots, I think the one flaw that they had there is when they dropped Tabana and Ash together and that through the drop hatch of Laundry, Ash was already so low on health that just a single magazine could have taken both of them out, and ultimately I think it did.
Yeah.
So it was like a 2-for-1 deal there, and then you had Blackbeard and Thatcher, the last 2 alive. Blackbeard, I don't exactly know where he was looking, if he was looking at the Laundry cubby,
yeah,
or he was looking at main hall.
He wasn't looking at the main hall, and that was the real problem in the very final seconds, is that Blackbeard was covering the wrong angle. And, there were 3 angles to hold. However, I say that, and at the same time, an easy way to deal with that situation, and of course, pressure must have been getting to him, but an easy way to deal with this situation, and I know he knows this, is to just prone and hold one of the 2 angles then that you are exposed to prone. It cuts out at least one.
It's a gamble. It's a gamble you have to take.
Well, no, the problem, the thing is again, there are 3 angles. There's the closet with those mirror windows. There's the closet rotation hole into Laundry, and then there's the hallway itself. So when you're crouched behind that, behind those shelves, you're exposed to all 3 of them. Yes, you're a Blackbeard. Yes, you have a shield, but you're still exposed to all 3 of them. Which means that if they come from the opposite angle you're holding, then your head is exposed, and that's the case. That's what we saw happen there.
Yep.
Now, if you go prone, you're only exposed to 2 of those 3 angles, and you can dictate which one that is. You can go for a 50-50 bet because they can only come at you through those 2 angles. They can't rotate through the mirror windows.
Yep.
So, unfortunately, he didn't take the risk and go for that 50-50 chance. Instead, opted to go for the 1 in 3, and it didn't work out for him.
Now we are going to have Drid roaming around here inside of the meeting hall along with Wesker. Drid hops on out, goes over to the bathroom. Now Zoronic is playing inside of the bus, which we actually saw Laxing do against...
We saw both teams in that matchup do that. Play Glaz or...
Jarvis was going up against Laxing in that fight. Jarvis picked Laxing off twice.
Yeah, Ominous actually also played players in there, though. I mean, both of those teams challenged on that kid's school bus into that window, and I think it's just to cut off the rotation to the upper floor. It makes a lot of sense, but it's also very dangerous. Now, however, let's talk about this Playing Ducks attack. What they're doing here is taking control of that tower, cutting off the rotation, and then they're going to be pushing their way onto the B windows, as well as having Zoronic here playing on this big window to establish a bit of a crossfire.
They are going for that Kids Dorms push, and
it's very common.
It is, and they've got the gBots has smoke underneath. They have Valkyrie underneath. I think the Valkyrie is underneath. That's Wesker. So they have the utility to throw up C4 if they need to, get those gas grenades up. They have basically the ability to stop a 45-second time plant.
As we say that, though, Wesker gets picked off. That's the 1 C4 down, and Lackey has established control over Meeting Hall. Now he's going to challenge onto Drid and Choi, who are playing in that kitchen, but unfortunately, there's only 45 seconds left to go. He's got to get pretty aggressive on these kitchen players if he wants to progress this round in his favor. Smoke has rotated around into the upstairs and is going to come back onto the site, play a little bit safer.
Yep, he knows that time is dwindling down. Troy's going to have to hold down here with her. Who's going to move first and who's going to see first? It looks as though just at the last moment, we're going to see Troy try to rush out, or Lackey try to move in. But
He's
a 4-on-5 is ensuing right now. 15 seconds to go. Looks as though Lion takes down Renewals. That's going to be the signal for Meepa to push on in, but Baraz takes down Zeronic. A 4-on-2 now. However, Dredge with the shotgun takes down Meepy. Lackey's going to go down, and it's going to be gBots with just a 5-man kill right away, and that is going to be the win here for the defenders on gBots. It's now 2-1.
So we are seeing from Playing Ducks so far on Oregon, similar to what we saw from gBots on Skyscraper, which is just a little bit less cohesion, a little bit less, pushing in as an actual unit, as a team, and more spreading out. Especially on that last attack, we were seeing players. I mean, I feel like there were probably 2 players who were anywhere near each other on the attacking squad there, and the rest of them were just getting picked off one by one by one. And that is not good. It's unfortunate to see coming out from Playing Ducks. They had a pretty good clear, taking control of that meeting hall early into the round, which allowed them a lot of versatility, a lot of movement, freedom to attack into the B bomb site through those windows. But unfortunately, they didn't have anything set up or in place to deal with the players who were in kitchen, who had those holes lined up through the kitchen floor, or sorry, ceiling, into the B bomb site floor, through which could see the windows. And because of that, they got picked off on those windows. Now we're going to be seeing Playing Ducks. They're going to be defending their upstairs.
Now last time we saw Renewals, this was on the downstairs hall, but last time we saw Renewals inside of the attic. And I can't help but think that they are going to play someone in attic here, seeing as how they are reinforcing that north side.
Yeah, it's possible that we will see someone playing in attic. You know, it's a big question whether or not you should play in attic as a defensive squad. I mean, it's viable and useful as a rotation tool. However, it's also very exposed to that window. It has direct line of sight access from the roof itself, from those attackers. So it comes down to really an advantageous challenge for the attackers, but at the same time, if you're good enough as a defender, I have seen people make it work in their advantage and get those picks in the opposite direction.
Yep.
As it stands, though, gBots, they're going to be moving their way into taking control of that tall tower, which leads me to believe that they will likely be doing a very similar attack to what we were seeing from Playing Ducks in the last round, which is tower, take control, deny flank, establish control over B windows, repel into B windows, plant. However, at the same time, Playing Ducks, they are going to be doing a very similar defense equally. Well, they will be having those holes opened up and 2 players in the kitchen itself, and through those holes in the kitchen ceiling and the bedroom floor, they will be able to see the 2 windows in the bedroom.
Now, I saw where 2 castle walls were. We had one at the main entrance wall and main entrance door into meeting hall. We had another one going into, thought I saw the double doors into dining. Where's that last castle wall? Maybe he's still holding on to it. I'm just trying to figure out what avenues they're trying to negate from the attackers pushing on to kitchen.
Right. Yeah, they have manipulated the bomb site quite a lot to, well, not just the bomb site, but the entire map, really.
Yeah, we've got Wesker and Lackey here going head for head. It looks like Wesker might get his head taken off here. Lackey trying to go for a couple pop shots right onto it.
Bomb located by attacker.
That's going to force Wesker to decide. Let's drone this out a little bit more.
Play it safe. Why not?
He now knows that he's back right corner. He's not going to be moved up close. However, that will give Lackey time to negate and get out of there. Lion, however, picks up that first kill onto Meepy as Drid takes down Zeronic. 4-on-3 at the moment. Drid's going to be out here on top of the shooting range north windows of the B site. He's going to pick up another kill there onto Lackey. Plant's going to go down by Lion. Troy's on the back stairs. I'm sorry, is he on back stairs? No, he's actually outside of the window, holding down the big window here, and we're going to have Baraz taking down Renewals. Last kill, last man alive, will be Snookin. He's at the back stairwell now at the top part of it, moving on into the site, and there will not be any opportunity for him to get the win as Lion takes down his head.
So, from Playing Ducks, I mean, what we saw there for the first kill of the round going into favor of gBots is Meepy. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened there, but he relocated out of the big kid's room. He must have been getting pressure from those B windows, but he relocated out of the kid's bedroom and then into the A bomb site, which completely exposed him to the Ash who was playing on that big window. And it's interesting that he chose to do that. A lot of the times what we see, the defender who's playing in the B bomb site itself, what they will often do is try to shove themselves between the windows or in one of the corners and try to stay alive as long as possible to continue to deny that repel into the bomb site. But because he exposed himself like that, somewhat unnecessarily, I might add, and because he got picked off. I know I'm trying to, I'm kind of emphasizing one particular player here, but it's a case of he was the linchpin in that defense, and unfortunately, as he fell, the rest of the defensive squad were unable to compensate for his not being on the bomb site. However, that is what it is. Now it is 3-1 in favor of gBots, and they will be going back into this basement defense. And they have, again, they won this first round that they defended it, and they've had it was pretty decisive as well. The Playing Ducks lineup, when they were going in for their attack here on this bomb site, they were just kind of spread out. They're getting picked off one by one. They didn't drone out the tower fully, which allowed 2 of the gBots players to then roam around and flank them.
Yeah, you had Choi and Drid.
Yeah, they were both playing up in this tower. Now we're just gonna have the Cav coming out yet again. It's a very interesting decision that they're bringing her here, but I think it's justifiable. She has those impact grenades, and you saw there, the Cav was using those impact grenades last round to spontaneously make those rotation holes in the attic, which gave her a lot of options and versatility and movement going into the attacking squad. Playing Ducks, they're going to be clearing from the west side of the building, moving to the east side of the building, which is something reminiscent of what we see on a lot of maps, similar to what we saw on Skyscraper earlier today. They're going to be challenging directly onto Choi.
Yeah, now this is a little unfortunate for Drid. He's now locked down at the top of those back stairs. Renuas is holding down that angle, and below him, you've got, I believe, we still have Glaz, who is still looking down the main hallway. He's actually going to hop on out of there, move on over to showers potentially, or up to the main window. But nonetheless, looks as though Drid will give away his position as he is at the top here. Renua's still trying to hold it down. He is getting droned out, though. So Drid has to play time at the moment and allow a rotation for Choi and Drid to work together.
Yeah, he's about to be cut off, however, from this Lackey. It's going to come down to whether or not the Jaeger can support Drid here and deny Lackey this flank.
The majority of the game is going to go up here as we have 2 members down. Looks like Choi will go down, and so will Drid.
Nope.
We also have an injured Sledge over here. That's Snookin and Zeronic.
So
now,
yeah,
that was a four-man down engagement. But
yeah, that was actually I think Cav got 2 pistol downs there.
However, Wesker's going to come around and pick up 1. Can he get another? He can. He's going to capitalize on the chaos at the north stairs there. And now we've just got plenty of 3-on-3 action at the moment.
Yeah, so 3-on-3 action, yes, but also equally on the attacking squad, lots of utility wasted, lots of drones, and more importantly, lots of time wasted.
Yes.
And they're only just now with a minute left to go, opening up that lobby drop. They still have a roamer unaccounted for in that Wesker, and they don't have enough manpower to cover the flank and push into the site at the same time. So this is going to be a very delicate balance and dance they're going to have to pull off to win this round, especially with 2 anchored. Smoke and Mira both have C4. One has C4, the other has gas grenades.
Now you can see the purpose of those shots by Wesker were just to give a little bit more, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. There's 35 seconds left. He wasn't going for a kill. He was merely just going, say, don't forget about me back here in kitchen. Now with 30 seconds to go, it is a 3-on-3. Zeronic's going to push on down forward, try to prevent the shots coming in. Line just has to stay back here. He's going to go for the gas shots momentarily. Tosses out 1 towards that laundry machine.
He can just perpetually throw those gas grenades and lock out the rest of this round. He doesn't have to peek.
Oh, and he's going to go for the kill there with the SMG-11. He takes down Zeronic, and we could be seeing a win here by gBots. Wesker finally comes around, and he gets that shot down onto Snookin.
Yeah, last guy's down.
Oh, and the diffuser got planted. There's a down. Oh, but the Claymore kill. Man, if it was a one-on-one, you down the guy who planted the diffuser, then you die by the Claymore?
Yeah, could you imagine?
Jeez. But there it is. gBots will take this round, and we are now seeing a 4-1 up lead here by gBots.
Hey guys, you see my Claymore kill? I'm so amazing. Oh my god. Oh man, we were talking about that earlier, but yeah. gBots being just as dominant on Oregon as Playing Ducks was on Skyscraper. And this is, I guess, kind of what we expected to see.
Yeah.
gBots, they obviously didn't understand Skyscraper very well, and that's understandable. If you're not going to be practicing it too extensively, and you've got to ban too many other things, there's just, so much ground to cover.
You have to bite the bullet and be very confident in your other 2.
Right, so not understanding Skyscraper, that's forgivable, especially considering how dominant they are being right now on Oregon. We'll see if they'll be able to carry that on going into, what was it, Chalet?
Yes, Chalet is the final map.
Fantastic. So, Chalet, both these teams are probably going to be pretty familiar with that. I think it is, I don't know of a scene, Xbox, PS, PC, and I don't know of a single Pro League scene that actually doesn't like Chalet. Maybe Brazilian Pro League, but I don't think so. I think they like Chalet as well. I'm pretty sure Chalet is one of the most universally played maps.
Yeah, Chalet's just like that universal map that you're just like, hey, I enjoy this map.
It's a good, well-balanced map, and I feel like it lends itself well to strategy, as well as dynamic teams that, like Penta, for example, who don't rely too much on, well, strategy. However, Playing Ducks back into the basement defense. So this was the one round that they have managed to win on Oregon. So if they're about to start their comeback, it's going to be now. Going back into the same exact site. They do have a castle and reinforcements going upstairs, which is going to entail very heavy roamer game going into this basement defense, which is, you know, it's something we see a lot of. You know, it's not necessarily abnormal per se. But it's risky at the same time, even if it is commonplace. Now, interestingly here, they impacted that, then reinforced it. They even put a castle barricade on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, so I feel like what they're doing here, I was about to say, why is Renewals staying in the same spot where he got killed off earlier, but that impact hole is going to allow him to get out of it.
Yeah, but there's the impact hole. What I'm saying is, like, they just kind of wasted an impact grenade and a castle barricade on this southmost side of attic.
Yep.
But whatever the case be, gBots, they're going to be pushing their way in through the west side of the building, droning out for all of the roamers to then establish dominance above the lobby, so they don't have to worry about, well, roamers. Once they have that, they're going to start opening up that drop down and working their way into the bomb site. Get those picks and establish that diffuser plant. Ooh.
I like this from Wesker. He's got 3 holes that are opened up, just enough to see when the color changes. He's going to go for the shots and misses them.
Just barely.
And as Lackey ducks on down, peeks on back up, and he will take off the head of Wesker, getting the first kill of the 6th round.
Lackey is that player in this matchup today who is just deciding to win engagements that he should not win, and it's very impressive to see.
He's disgusting with that vector.
Oh yeah, he's really good with that vector. He's good with Ash too. I mean, he's been playing great this whole matchup. Got an ace. I mean, what can you say?
So Lackey right there trying to go for shots onto Troy, as Troy is now a little cautious here. I don't know if he fully opened up the wall, if that was the drop hatch getting opened up, but we still have a 4-on-5. I mean, now we have some bullets coming in through the pantry over here. Dread takes down that kill into Lackey, a wonderful kill. 4-on-4 now with 60 seconds remaining. Renewals is going to be up on top of the attic. Zeronic trying to draw attention to the back of Red Tower now that Troy's actually going to push around and possibly engage in that fight.
So it kind of seems like gBots, they are getting caught in the trap of Renewals getting that pick onto Choi. And just as I say trap, Choi falls into it. I mean, it seems, whoa.
A good peek on out there from Drid. From Meepy. You cannot keep your head exposed through that drop hatch if you have this double mirror.
Unless you have a Blackbeard shield, but I mean, even then
it's super risky.
Yeah, even if, because you're dealing with the SMG-11 or any gun, really, is going to get enough bullets onto that shield to break it before you can even react.
Now, there are 20 seconds left to go in a 4-on-2. We could see Playing Ducks get this victory here. They need it to stay in the running here. We've got a drop here from Baraz. He's going to get taken out. Last man alive is going to be Lion, and he's in the middle of the site. He won't get this down. He will be taken down, and P-Ducks wins round number 6. It's 4-2. P-Ducks still trailing by 2 rounds.
So again, the only site that they have had any success, attack or defense on, and by they I mean Playing Ducks, is that basement defense. I mean, that's all they've been able to win so far. So yes, they did just bring it back, I guess you could say, start their comeback. However, they haven't really been close at all to winning any of the other attacks or defenses so far on this map. And it's going to be difficult for them to now win the attack going into kid dorms in this round.
Yeah, and so they, like you said, they are going to have to attack the top side. They're going to have to attack the kids' dorms and
it's going to come down to whether or not they've managed to read the defense of gBots here and are going to be able to actually read into it and adapt upon it, or if they're going to fall into the same trap they were. I mean, what we were talking about, we just talking about traps, on the note of traps.
Yes.
So Playing Ducks on that last round, they did a fantastic job of laying out a trap for gBots to waltz into on their attack, and well, they did, certainly. They had those players in the attic, and then 2 players by the back of meeting/tower, baiting the Playing Ducks roster into taking control of into forcing their way into meeting hall, and then losing, well, I mean, losing very much slanted engagements.
So, I mean, I feel like Playing Ducks, they're trying to get back on their feet. Like you said, the only thing that they've been able to successfully win has been their downstairs defensive hold, which means this is not, on the books right now, this is not looking good for them to win this map, or actually have a comeback on this map.
Right, but they are going to be actually changing up their attacks, seemingly so far in this round. They are situating themselves in a position to take into that master/armory, but they are going to be faced with the Baraz. It's going to be bandit tricking here.
Yeah, but now the EMP went out. I believe that took out 2 of Baraz's batteries.
So this particular attack is one that we don't see a whole heck of a lot of anymore going into Oregon. It's actually very abnormal. So it's cool to see, but at the same time, it's a big risk for Playing Ducks to be going for this Master Closet Armory take. I mean, you see Wesker there in the meeting hall. He's setting himself up in a position to easily run underneath the where the attackers are coming from and get that C4 from the bottom. Snookin's in a position to stop him, but whether or not he'll be successful is, well, only time will tell.
And one of the things that's noteworthy is there's no pulse. So if there's going to be a C4 tossed up, it's going to be a blind C4. And Wesker can still get it.
It's super easy, though. The room is tiny. Yep. I mean, you can cover the width of the floor basically with one C4. That simply. I mean, just throw it in the middle and you'll hit something as long as there's a player in there.
Yeah, so as you said, Wesker was lining himself up to run and get that C4, but Snookin, playing the buck, is able to open up that entire wall, so he's actually countering the counter.
Yeah, he's just waiting for the C4 to come from underneath. Renewals gets a pick onto Wesker through the lobby. That's going to cut off that C4 like you were talking about earlier.
So that is basically the majority of the stop here. However, there is Drid on that back west stairwell, so he is going to be able to toss up the gas grenades. He's got plenty of time to do so.
Yeah, and Troy was playing in the small tower, but unfortunately he will, well, not unfortunately necessarily, but he will get picked off or pushed off by that glass. However, that means Ironic is really far away from the site here with only a minute to go. He has to reunite with his team to help them on this push. There's no pressure coming out from, Troy gets a nice pick onto Lackey to even out the man, well, get it more into their favor.
Yeah. Shift W is not what you want to do all the time there, ladies and gents, and that is why Ash went down. Troy's not going to escape away from the danger that is Glaz, looking on down from small tower up the main hallway. 35 seconds left to go. We do have Meepy with the diffuser in hand. He's going to try to get into the middle dorms, but Troy and Drid are going to take down Zeronic and Renewals. The final 2 attackers are going to push themselves in. Meepy and Drid are both going to trade off. Troy, however, will get the last 2 kills, and we are going to see gBots take this map to their hands, and we are going into the 3rd and final map here on Chalet.
So, now, on that round, we saw the problem with an Armory Master take. And well, they didn't even take Armory in this instance. It was just a Master take. But all the same, we saw the issue with the Master take and the big glaring flaw in that strategy. And it is, yes, you can pick off the roamers. You can deny the C4 from underneath. You can put yourself in a significant man advantage, and they did just that. However, as long as, I mean, that was great roaming game coming out from Troy, don't get me wrong. He got those 2 picks, that was great. But as long as there's still a player established on the top of white stairs, and there's still a player established in big bedroom, I mean, there's
the kids' bedroom and the back stairs are the 2 key points to hold on that entire top floor bomb site.
Yeah, and the crossfire, as you're attempting to come from Master/Armory side of the building, the crossfire from the east push is pretty much unbeatable, and we've seen time and time again, as long as those 2 players are still alive on that defensive round going into the last 30 seconds, no matter what, even if it's a 2 versus 5, those 2 can easily still prevail, and they did just that going into this particular round.
Now here's that 4-man down, 2 on attack, 2 on defense, and Wesker was able to capitalize on that and get it back to a 3-3.
Yeah, and what could have happened coming out from Playing Ducks to keep themselves in that map on that last attack round, what could have happened is they could have had that Glass, instead of chasing down the Jaeger in the small tower, and then after that he pushed into the lower area of the bomb site. Instead of that, if you played big window, he could have helped out a little bit, maybe try to get a pick onto one of those peeking last 2 players on the site. However, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm moving on to Chalet. I'm thinking about Chalet, and I'm like, I think this could go into like a 6-5 overtime, because these 2 teams,
this could go either way.
These 2 teams have shown they both can roam. They both have roam games, and this is one of those maps where the rotation of roam game is very paramount.
It's all gonna, I mean, this kind of goes without saying, but it all comes down to whichever team has practiced the map more. I know. Surprise, surprise.
Or countered each other more.
We're not seeing a whole lot of that right now. I mean, basic counters, yes, but just like on super low strategy levels, like nothing surprising. Like, no, we know you do that, and we're just going to be ready for it.
It's not like invest half of your utilities in cave tunnel to prevent Flipside from getting in.
What I mean by team who's practiced more, we are actually going to get into the match right off the bat here. But to elaborate on what I'm saying about that is, like, Skyscraper, very clearly, Playing Ducks understood the map a whole lot more. Oregon, very clearly, gBots understood the map a whole lot more. And what we were seeing as a result of that from both those teams on their respective maps is the team that is more familiar with that map, played more cohesively, more together, especially on attack, and were able to deal with the roamer game, like you were talking about earlier. Yep. And then more, to elaborate, or to go on from that, they were allowed to actually push into the site in more, like, just in a better fashion. I mean, not losing players to that roamer game early on is really helpful. And when they're trying to challenge roamers one by one and they're not droning out efficiently, I mean that's indicative of just not understanding the map at all. So, who understands Chalet better?
Well,
that's the question.
We'll have to wait 11 rounds to see, I'm hoping. But we are going to be here on the first round of Chalet. This is the third map between these two teams, the third and final map.
And
now,
again,
the importance of this, the importance
huge.
of this map here, the importance of this series. The winner will secure that third invite to the LAN event here in Katowice, Poland on May 20th and 21st. The loser, unfortunately, will not receive that invitation, and it all comes down to this map.
Yeah, they're going to go bye-bye, unfortunately. So this is it's very significant for both these teams. We're going to be having a pretty heavy roam game coming out from gBots. 2 players in the library side of things, and they're going to try and hold on to that top 4 as long as possible. From library, you don't necessarily have to exert your dominance over the office and master bedroom to keep that, just a lingering thought in the attackers who are coming from that end of the building. You have to worry about us later. Wesker going to be playing in the bush, and it's funny. The bush has been utilized in this west lobby. The bush has been utilized for a long time, since the beginning of the game,
We
really.
might just see Snookin go by. No! Looks like Snookin's going to say, I see you, and I raise you a headshot.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've seen that bush utilized since the beginning of the game, and it actually still works. Amazingly, it still works. Who knows why, but if sometimes you just hide in there, I guarantee you do it in ranked a couple times, you're going to get a couple free kills. Just go for it. Sit in the bush, see what happens. Just see what happens.
Just get a green body skin on as well, like Caveira's, or a lot of times cap cans also works.
Yeah, no, I mean you could do it on attack too.
Yes.
You come in at like a camouflaged Ash or Jaeger or something like that.
Ooh, a very brilliant shot there by Drid. Through the display case onto the face of Lackey. That's going to even out man count 4-4 with half the round to go here on round number 1.
So that's a good pick, like you said, to even out that man count. But we are still half of the round gone now. The attackers have only just now managed to start to push their way into Master. Drid's going to be playing in this little entryway. Zyronic going to be cautious of it, but run away and come off the angle in the end. He's going to instead try to push his way onto what appears to be, he's going into that bathroom.
Yeah, Zyronic unfortunately didn't check that angle as thoroughly as he should have. He could have gotten an easier kill there, but he allowed Drid to escape on out of there.
Yeah, now actually he might get pressured from the Pulse, can't quite see, coming out from that little entranceway. We'll see exactly what happens. It is going to be Meepy going for the opening up onto this west lobby wall into Trophy. Gonna have that Thatcher grenade coming down from the bottom, but Troy in a good position.
Underneath he's gonna take out the Thermite, and however Zyronic looks around at the at the right time, just a little bit too slow in that trigger finger, and Troy will get that traded down.
Pulse is going to be playing it a little bit safer. Instead of challenging out behind West Lobby, he's going to just go ahead and keep maintaining control of south of the building on the bottom floor, on the first floor there. That's not going to actually help them at all going into this defense as the attacking squad. They're not pushing the the south at all.
Yeah, so we do have Drid getting back on site. There are, I believe, no roamers left. Zyronic trying to move in forward, but Drid's going to take him down. That's Diffuser who's down in line, and Barrage each going to collapse on Snookin and Renewals. Just an instant 1 second, and 3 players are killed off. That's going to be gBots taking round number 1.
So great synergy there, guys, to push in all together. But unfortunately, it was 1 player to each lane, and because of that, there was no trade back potential coming out from that attack. They lost their initial engagements, and thus the round was over. So that Pulse coming from the south through his own barricades on that lobby 2 dining hall caught the Glaz off guard and helped open up that round, or sorry, lock out that round for the defensive squad. So a little bit of a lack of a clear coming out from. Excuse me, a little bit of a lack of a clear coming out from the gBots, from the Playing Ducks attack there.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that we can see that turned around here on the attack side. On the defensive side, we've got Playing Ducks here trying to go with, I believe it was a Continuum strat from Season 3 or the 6 Invitational.
I mean, it's an anybody strat. I mean, we've seen this a couple times from a couple different teams. Continuum is one of them. I think Continuum's the only one who's actually used it in Pro League.
Yes.
I say we've seen it. I mean, I've seen it a couple different times in like scrims and stuff like that. It's an experimental strategy that can work, absolutely. They're going to be incorporating the Miras into their strategy here, and we'll see if that helps them out going into the defense. So you could say that Mira, they put in office, a little bit exposed, right? Not necessarily, given that the Mira is, the only way to actually establish dominance on that Mira is to get onto the balcony. We see what you're trying to do there. Oh!
Does it get there? We'll have to take a look and see if maybe he's going to check it afterwards. But Drid gets an early kill under Renewals. That is very unfortunate, taking out one of the 3-speed operators. That's Jaeger.
Yeah, that's going to hurt the roamer game coming out from Playing Ducks. I believe that was into the library, either the library or the bathroom, as Drid has established himself on this radio tower.
Now, Zeronic all the way downstairs, going into the master garage, the big garage down there. Maybe he's going to try to rotate back into A as the window gets opened up. I do not want to see Snookin try to challenge this against Drid. I want to see him stay inside a library without risking it. He doesn't need to risk it. He's already got one teammate down.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see that. We'll see exactly what goes on. I don't think he is going to be challenging it, given that the defensive strat from Playing Ducks is seemingly very heavily pivoted around holding that library. Zeronic going to get a trade onto Choi. That's going to even out the man count, and that's Ash off the board. That's a significant kill. He ran out that garage and killed Ash as she was outside the door he's standing next to right now. He's going to use his pulse sensor to look for more heartbeats, but he just barely missed Wesker, as he's now rotated around to the west lobby side of things. He's still a little bit working. I mean, he's worried about that that bathroom window. He's trying to establish some sort of information on it by throwing out that drone, but he's going to have a hard go of it.
Now, Zeronic will hear Lion repel to this. I don't expect him to necessarily. He's going to check for other drones. Oh, Wester's going to spot him out. Now he's got to go. He's got to run, try to evade Drid's shots, and it just is not enough. Drid's going to pop in 2 shots. One of them's going to be a headshot into Zeronic. Lackey, though, gets the trade down onto Wesker. You've got a minute 20 here to go, and it's still a 3-on-3. Snookin's back in L as we've got Meepy here inside of the A site. Last defender, where's he going to be at? I think he's inside of the bedroom. He's inside a bathroom or bedroom at the moment.
Well, that's the last. There's 2 defenders on site now. There's Lackey in the bathroom, and there is Meepy playing in this office. Now, that Mira, which has not been seen in the previous metas, of course, Mira being a new addition, is actually going to influence this attack quite a lot, given that all of the remaining gBots players are coming from this balcony.
And there's no need to get rid of that barbed wire, so they're either going to hop through the window or they're going to have to go through the barbed wire, either of which they have a very good crossfire. Now, Drid is going to watch this onto Lackey. With 35 seconds to go, Fire's going to be pushing him off of the window, but not enough that he can't actually peek through it. I believe the window has been opened up all the way. Mirage is going to go here, try to cover Lion as he goes for the plant. Drid's still out on the balcony here with smoke covering his booty. You've got a 3-on-2 now that Drid finished off Lackey. Or Lackey finished off Drid. Now Baraz was able to get Snookin down a 1-on-1 here. Diffuser has been downed, and you've got Lackey coming out, and at the wrong time, Hibana will go for the shot and miss. Lackey, however, will pick up that kill in the line, and we are going to see P-Ducks take round number 2.
So, an unconventional defensive strat coming out from Playing Ducks, going up to that master bedroom, and it worked out for them, certainly. Even though their mirror window got opened up, I think it was actually very much earlier in the round, maybe. But even though that got opened up, they still managed to make use of that position itself going into the last final seconds of that round when gBots decided to push in through that balcony. And it was interesting that they opted to go for that particular take, given that it was very clear the Playing Ducks defense was entirely situated around holding a balcony take. I mean, it's just an interesting way that they chose to handle that, especially, and they droned it out. They knew the mirrors were there. They even opened up the mirror. I mean, I guess they just figured they must have detoothed the defense after opening up that mirror, but it just didn't work out for them because they didn't have control over that bathroom. Because of that, they had to enter themselves into a crossfire.
Yeah, I feel like if you're 3 people, Glass go on the balcony, smoke out, do whatever, have your Hibana or your Buck, whichever one has the diffuser, go up there as well. Have the last person get onto that bathroom balcony so that you can get rid of that window.
He didn't even need to get onto the bathroom balcony. The funny thing is he could have just stayed on the radio tower. Drid could have stayed on the radio tower the whole round to win that round. Because, I mean, he started out there. He got a pick from there. And if he had remained there, he would have maintained control over the rotation hole in bathroom, denied the rotation into bathroom and thus the crossfire, and allowed his teammates to plant that much easier. Because you saw there, they had everything on lockdown going into the final seconds of that round. However, I mean, I say everything on lockdown void bathroom yet again.
Yep.
Now, we are going to be seeing Playing Ducks going into their attack. And a much more conventional bomb site coming out from gBots. They will be defending the basement.
So a lot of times players will ask, what is the point of shooting one bullet into the windows at the top of the garage here?
Really?
That is just to make
People ask
sure.
that?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me recently, and a lot of that is because they need to make sure that those windows are still intact so that C4s don't get tossed out.
Yeah. I mean, if you're on the attacking squad, that's absolutely what you do. Because sometimes it's hard to see the glass itself.
They are going for a very quick plant here. Meepy trying to go in. Lots of gas grenades. There's smoke grenades going out. They are not in a position just yet, but the gas grenade does take down Meepy. Lion's going to get 2 kills here. One with his SMG, one with the gas grenade. Diffuser does not get planted. Renewal is going to try to go for it, but stands up in time. And this rush is not working out for them. Wesker going to get 1 kill onto Renewals, and now it's a 2-on-5. We still have 2/3 of the round left to go. You've got Zeronic and Snookin, last 2 alive. Nade's going to go thrown in. Now he's got to pick up the diffuser back on out of there, and this is not what P-Ducks needed to do.
Yeah, not what they needed to do. That's not a strat, guys. That's not a rush, nor is it any sort of take, really. Open up the snowmobile.
It's relying on glass.
Okay, yeah, you could say.
That's all it is.
It's not just relying on glass, though. It's also relying on the fact that there's no smoke, there's no C4, there's nothing in a position at all to kill something behind, a smoke grenade. But we'll see if they manage to salvage this round. It is 2 versus 5. They have every opportunity here to still lock it. I mean, nope.
Ooh, there's a good peek out from Lion. That's his 3rd kill of the round, and it looks as though Wesker's going to get the 2nd kill of his round here, taking down Snookin. This is a flawless round here from gBots.
So, again, that's not a strategy at all. That's not a strategy. It's not a rush either because, okay, it's not a strategy because you're only opening up one wall. You're trying to push into the site. And, okay, sure, rely on smokes and glass, but that doesn't work. You can't pivot off of that. It's like what we saw on Skyscraper earlier where gBots tried to put a pulse into, or was it gBots? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was gBots. They tried to put a pulse into Geisha and just rely on Drid on his individual skill to hold Geisha, which was the linchpin in their defense. They could have made it not the linchpin and backed off of that to, void Geisha entirely, but they didn't. Anyway, that's not a strategy. Relying on one person to hold down.
I didn't pay enough attention to the Thatcher to know if he was throwing in extra EMPs after the plant was going down, trying to time to get rid of the gas grenades evenly. Like, it's possible that that's what they're thinking. Hey, maybe we'll get lucky and risky. It definitely isn't reliable. But yeah. I'm trying to come to terms with what was the point of trying to breach into such a singular spot? It's
not a rush because you're opening up directly into the bomb site where you will always have players in a position to stop said take. I mean, a rush can be like coming from an avenue that a team won't necessarily expect 5 players to be coming from all at once. That wasn't that. It wasn't a take because they were only opening up one wall. They weren't going. Snowmobile take is you open up the snowmobile garage and then you open up the bar drop down. You start to establish crossfires on the defenders.
You come down back hall.
Yeah, you open up multiple avenues to give yourselves advantages on the attacking squad, and you use your drones to then give yourself information that the defenders won't necessarily know about. And in that instance, you weren't using drones. You weren't opening up multiple avenues. You were just attempting a rush that can't be attempted.
But Choi.
Gets
a very good shot there onto Snookin. I don't know why Snookin was there. He saw the bullets. He heard the bullets. He just decided, I'm just going to stand out here like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, I'm very confused right now.
Playing Ducks showing that they've got a little bit of some kinks that they need to work out. They got to iron out some wrinkles.
I feel like Playing Ducks, they're trying to get a little bit too aggressive here. They're trying to make something happen that they don't necessarily need to make happen, both on attack and defense. And they're getting away from what we expect to see from Playing Ducks. Playing Ducks, they're a fantastic team with great strategy and new ideas. We've seen it before. They are a strategy team as well with some interesting, again,
we saw the top floor hold work for them.
Right. But what's happening now in these next 2 rounds? I mean,
so maybe what they're trying to do is, one of the things with teams is, for the most part, their strategies, a lot of teams will develop strategies that are one-paced strategies, or they're a one-paced team. So maybe what Playing Ducks is trying to do here is change up the pace. Say, okay, you think we're going to react slow, we're going to be slow, now we're going to go hot, now we're going to go speed.
Okay.
And they're trying to do that, but I don't know if it's going to work.
Playing Ducks. Ooh, Playing Ducks, yeah, no. Zeronic's going to get picked off by Wesker as they droned out that corner and knew Valkyrie was playing there. Troy would have gotten the kill anyway, even if the Valkyrie had managed to kill the Buck. However, now it is a 5 versus 2, heavily in the favor of gBots. And if what you're saying is true, Playing Ducks, if you did in fact switch gears to try and throw gBots off, switch back please now. Do it right now. Come back, all right? You still got time. I believe in you.
Now we do have Renewals working his way down the L hallway, looking in towards master bedroom where we've got Baraz. I would not expect some wall shots there unless he actually hears him all the way. Baraz will be killing off Lackey and be called out in the top drop of that master bedroom. Now Meepy's going to have that fire air to deal with. Renewals still working his way forward. He sees the Claymore. He's going to take it out, try to rush on in, and goes for the kill, and he gets it down. That's going to be a good kill by the Jaeger, taking over that top floor with Diffuser planted. It's now a 3-on-2. Renewals popped on out of the balcony to take down Drid. He's now trying to make sure, okay, do I hop out of balcony? Do I move in forward? What's going to happen? And there it is. That's going to be the last of the Gaskin. He's going to peek on over. He gets that kill onto Troy. A 2-on-2 now. They know that Lion's going to be there, and Lion takes down Renewals. He's going to go for that Bearing 9 kill. Cannot get it. A 1-on-1 now. Wesker against Meepy. Now, Meepy is going to take over control here. He's going to have one grenade to deal with that actually might do it. It does. That is going to be a Kobe toss of the evening here, ladies and gents, as Wesker takes down Meepy.
A great grenade from Wesker, and an attempt, a very fantastic, I have to say, a good job by Playing Ducks to try and get that comeback. However, because they were 2 men down so early in the round due to seriously unnecessary aggression. I mean, playing a Valkyrie in the corner in Big Garage. We saw that earlier in this matchup, and everybody expects that. And of course, it's not going to work for you. It hasn't worked for anyone yet. And then we saw the Bandit peeking out West Lobby. You never peek out West Lobby. It's too open.
Snookin', hello?
It's hard to catch the attacking players as they're coming up from their spawn. I know it must have been Snookin'. He's just, I'm going to catch him off guard. No one ever does this. And you're right, Snookin'. No one ever does that. And there's a reason why. It's the same reason that nobody defends CEO on Bake. I mean, we see that happen sometimes. But, you guys get what I'm trying to get at here. It's not, nobody roams on Clubhouse basement hold. Comparison.
Yeah, wasn't that was Playing Ducks?
It doesn't work for the.
Tried.
I think it was Playing Ducks. Maybe it was gBots, but actually it was one of these two teams.
Yeah.
They were roaming.
It was one of these two, and it did not work for them.
Actually, you know what? Now I'm pretty sure it was Playing Ducks.
Yes.
And they're continuing that trend going onto this map, and I like that they're trying to mix things up, but it doesn't work, guys. It
doesn't work with the current meta. Now, if there's a new operator that comes out and he's got a 360-degree shield around him, make it work.
The thing is you say it doesn't work with the current meta, but what I'm saying is it doesn't work time-tested. It's the sort of thing you don't roam on Clubhouse Basement because it doesn't work because it's been tried and tried and tried again, and we know for a fact that it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So don't try to force it out. I get that it's unpredictable, but I'm a broken record. Anyway.
We're here in round number 5, ladies and gentlemen. gBots is up 3-1. You still have Zeronic getting up here onto the balcony. He just wanted to make sure, do a little jig on the ladder, make sure that he wasn't going to be picked off by that office door. Gets rid of the cam now, and they now know that someone's up here. Window has been opened up. Zeronic is going to go head-to-head here. I think that is Troy by the fireplace.
So Zeronic, he's trying to open up these angles onto these roaming defending players on the library.
Oh, and he gets that shot from the back stairwell.
That was fantastic. That's the second time we've seen Troy challenge from those west stairs onto the balcony and get that same exact kill. Last time it was a Thatcher. This time a Glaz. All the same, putting his team in the advantage man-wise.
Now it looks like Baraz is going to have some bullets raining down upon him from above as we've got the top hallway opened up here by Snookin'. They do have to be very cautious of Drid, though. Drid is going to be here inside of the library. Now, now he's not on site, so he's not a threat to the people in master bedroom.
So gBots, they have 2 roamers right now, but as of this moment, they're not heavily influencing this round. Troy got the pick on the player who was holding the roamers from the balcony, but they aren't actually going for the players who are attempting their take onto the site. They're not trying to push into office. They're not trying to push into master. They're just playing it safe. And it could work out for gBots that they're playing this patiently, given that Playing Ducks are struggling to open up avenues and pick off players in the site itself.
Yep, now Snookin's still doing some redecorating here, and there's going to be the C4. Tossy hears he's going to get on out of the site. Out of the way of harms from that C4. Now Wesker will pick up that kill onto Meepy. C4 is going to go out, but he will get killed off by Lackey underneath. Enemy's been detected outside. Who is running out here? I don't know. That might have been Troy.
I think that was Troy on the outside west lobby. Baraz is going to get a pick onto Lackey.
Oh, Renewals will peek around L and take down Troy. However, that was a full-out trade between the two. 3-on-1 at the moment. Snookin' last man alive here. He doesn't clutch this. We will be going into match point and series point for gBots.
Yeah.
Now he's giving away a little bit of his intel here. He's coming on down the stairs. 25 seconds to go.
He's got barbed wire and a 3-way crossfire to contend with here.
No grenade utility.
Yeah, so
he's moving on forward here. And now this is going to be the end of the round. Snukin gets picked off. 3-way cross.
Yeah, that's to be expected, to be completely honest. I mean, he would have had to have been some aiming legend to lock out that round, especially with the lack of information. But all the same, that really came down to, again, the gBots roam game was pretty good, They played passively and then spontaneously burst into action onto those players in the office master bedroom when it was necessary, as well as they got a pick early on. Choi onto that glass playing for... So the glass, what he was doing on that balcony was specifically... His position there was specifically to counter the library roamers and deny them access, deny them a flank to the rest of the attacking squad who is coming in through Master and Office. And that's why we weren't seeing from Playing Ducks, that's why we weren't seeing them attempt at all. Here we're going back to the Master bedroom. That's why we weren't seeing Playing Ducks attempt at all to clear out the roamers, because they were relying on that glass to hold the roamers back. Then he wasn't there. They didn't put anyone in that position, and it ended up costing them. Again, Playing Ducks coming back onto their master defense. This was the one round they have managed to win on this map. So if they're going to start their comeback, it's going to be now. This is so reminiscent of Oregon, guys. This is exactly what happened last time. It was 4-1 gBots and
Playing Ducks got their second win by winning the same defensive site that they won previously.
Yeah, and that was basement. And so we'll see if Playing Ducks can continue to do that and put themselves back in it. However, they also didn't win Oregon. So it's looking pretty desperate for Playing Ducks here going into this map.
And I mean, this is basically what we just talked to Meepy about in the interview. We asked, how do you come out of a slump, or how do you rally when your momentum is not in your favor?
Right.
And his words are wise. I just think that they now need to have this talk. They need to say, let's get out of this slump. Lackey's going to take one bullet to the chest and have massive damage done to him.
It's amazing that Lackey was not expecting a glass on that radio tower after we had him there. He got a pick onto Jaeger just this last attack round on the same bomb site.
So Renewal is now being very cautious of someone coming up the ladder there. That's a typical angle you'll hold. You almost never want to come up that ladder unless you've already got you're throwing up nades, smoke grenade, whatever it may be, or you've got control of underneath.
So to be completely fair, I like the Playing Ducks setup. They have control of both the ladders onto these balconies outside the site, and that's the only way you can get onto those balconies via the ladder. And then the balcony outside of the site of B is, well, it's controlled by the Mira, which is an office. So again, gBots are strategically at a loss. They aren't really sure exactly how to be pushing into this bomb site. And because of that, we could see Playing Ducks bring this back to 2-4. And I think the odds are pretty good for that.
I think so too. I agree with your analysis of their setup, of where they're set up, how they're trying to hold their angles. They're not giving away too much.
The only two ways that Playing Ducks can be challenged right now, or three ways, I guess, are from underneath, grenades, buck, and the like, and that's unlikely to happen. That requires strategy and planning. Ooh, some aggression coming up from Meepy is going to put the man advantage into Playing Ducks' favor. Choi getting picked off early. That's the Ash gone. That's a lot of firepower.
Ooh, and Lackey's shoulder might be taken out here. He's trying to use a lot of ammo. He sees the little pixel shoulder right there. He cannot get it. Lackey's still going to stay in position for the time being. A 5-on-4 coming out here for Playing Ducks.
So the three ways that the attackers can challenge this are from the balcony that Lion is on right now, from underneath with the buck and grenades, or from inside the building itself, given that both of the balconies on the sides of the sites are unavailable due to control of ladders.
Now, Lion, unfortunately, is not peeking towards the wall there due to that mirror window, and that will allow Meepy to go out for that aggressive peek. Now he saw Glass, but Glass scooted around behind the Evergreen, and therefore this is all taken care of. 5-on-4 still going on the way here. 35 seconds left. We're going to have Baraz and Lion on the balcony. You've got Renewals trying to deny all this. Now he might get an angle here. Looks like a nade's going to come on in.
But he's going to die to this next one.
There goes that nade, and that will be Renewals basically down in the jacuzzi. 20 seconds remaining here. 3-on-4. Or sorry, 4-on-4. Lackey going to go for a little peek there, takes out Lion's head. Smoke grenades are going to get tossed into the bathroom. Baraz going to try to rush on in. He's going to go for the kill here as Wesker goes for the plant in the same corner that happened before. Now Baraz will pick up the kill into Lackey. He's going to go on through the drone hole or through the crouch hole. Drid picks up that kill into Meepy, and Renewals, like you said, is going to get that plant down. Now there are two members left. That is going to be Snukin and Zeronic. He still have no C4 in hand, but he does have a line of sight through the floor to figure out where the people are. Looks like Drid will get taken out by Snukin. Wesker inside of the bathroom here, as we also have Baraz.
Paul should be able to call it for his teammate that both of these players are in bathroom, but Wesker sneaks out of bathroom into Master, picks off the Bandit, and Baraz gets the kill. Looks like through the floor onto the Pulse. And that is GG 5-1 in favor of gBots, and Series 1 for gBots. gBots will be going to LAN.
Yeah, so gBots goes all the way to LAN after this victory. Basically, they were down a map, came back to win the next two. So a very good comeback.
So overall, to summarize